Hello, I'm Paul.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Ben.
And welcome to the Filmbusters podcast. The film show with no filters, no prisoners taken, loads of disagreements, but one hell of a love for cinema.
If you want to hear three friends ridiculing each other for an hour or so regarding their taste in films, then you have come to the right place.
In each episode, one of the team picks a film for us to discuss. It could be anything from a recent cinema release to an all-time classic.
So, strap in and get ready to get mad or get vindicated as we guide you through the murky world of being a film geek.
If you like what you hear, you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram using @FilmbustersPod. You can also find each of our individual accounts. I'm at Filmbusters Paul.
I'm at Filmbusters Adam.
And I'm at Filmbusters Ben.
If you want to use your eyes instead of your ears, you can also visit the website at filmbusterspod.co.uk.
And if busting makes you feel good, you can also support us at patreon.com/filmbusters for exclusive content.
Alright, can we just get on with this now, please?
Filmbusters. Guess which 80s star I saw at the weekend?
Oh, go on. Who?
Oh, yeah. You said, didn't you?
You both know.
I don't. We both know the answer. I don't know if we want to leave it for suspense or...
Now I've
forgotten.
forgotten.
He put it on the chat.
It's for the listeners.
He said, I'm at the interval with...
Oh, yeah, I do know.
It's Sigourney Weaver. I went to see Sigourney Weaver in The Tempest. And my God, this woman is incredible. She is 76 years old. And I was stunned to find that out afterwards because she's got all the pep and vigour that she ever had. It was very much something.
Was the show good?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I knew nothing about... It was kind of interesting. Like, I didn't know anything until we arrived. Shakespeare's The Tempest. And I knew nothing about the story. And then when I got there, Jenny was like, right, do you want me to tell you... Because she was like, I've read the rough plot. Do you want me to tell you, or do you want to go in just not knowing anything? And I was like, let me try it. Shakespeare's hard if you don't know a bit about the story. But I was like, let me try it. And by the time we got to the interval, I was like, I need to read. I need to read something. So
it's
I got
all
my
about
phone
Storm,
out.
isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah. So she is in the original text. It's a duke. It's a man's role. So again, she's taking on the role of the traditional role of a man, which is cool. And she has been stranded on this island after a sort of purge from these military men and this king who wanted his throne. And she lives on this island, and she's a sorcerer, and she summons up evil spirit from the depths and a sort of good spirit who she converts to be evil to do her bidding, to basically get revenge on the people who came for her. And it's very, very well executed. It's done by this guy called Jamie Lloyd, who did a couple of things with Benedict Cumberbatch before when he did Hamlet, I think, and one other thing. He does like contemporary versions of shit. Mm-hmm. Basically like Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet, only a lot darker and without music.
So is she like a kind of an evil character? She playing?
No, she's in the same way that Macbeth is an evil character. It's just someone who's corrupted and sort of polluted by...
Yeah, I guess it.
It's like The Rock in Moana.
There you go. Look at that, The Rock in Moana.
If you want to make that comparison.
I see where you're going with that one, Adam, yeah.
But yeah, Sigourney Weaver, man, and that was very nice. And let me tell you, so now, I was talking about this with Jenny. This is a very fun thing to do. I wonder what your boys'
talk to your
stats
wife
would be. No. If you go to your top 10 films of all time,
yeah,
how many actors have you seen in the flesh? How many films in your top 10 can you tick off and say, and now I've seen someone from that film? Because by seeing Sigourney Weaver, that has ticked off Ghostbusters for me, which is very exciting. So I've seen, out of my top 10, I've now seen 6 people. Scarface, Al Pacino, Glengarry Glen Ross, Al Pacino, Ghostbusters, Sigourney Weaver, Terminator 2, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carlito's Way, Al Pacino,
when you
and
mean,
The Irishman,
when you
Al Pacino and De Niro.
In the flesh, do you mean in a play, in talking? Because I feel like me and Paul have kind of like cheated, and I've seen
probably you more than me, because you get all the Graham Norton people.
Yeah.
If you've seen them in the flesh, that's what counts.
I got zero. I got zero. I can't think of anyone I've seen with the films I got.
What's your top 10, Paul? Remind me.
Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, The Dark Knight Rises, Zack Snyder's Justice League, The Matrix, Fight Club, The Prestige, Inception, Reservoir Dogs, The Batman, The Dark Knight. No one's springing out to my. I mean, I've seen some big people. I've seen like Spielberg. I've seen Jon Favreau. I've seen.
You haven't seen anyone from any of those films at any point at Elstree?
Not that I can think of. I've seen Helen Mirren.
Adam, what have you seen?
Got top 40. Here we go. Even that's out of date. So no one from Back to the Future. No one. I see Fight Club's still in there. That Fight Club's not in there anymore, in my opinion. But
funnily enough, I've seen Fight Club because I saw Ed Norton when I was in Switzerland for the Locarno Film Festival.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Whiplash, The Italian Job, none. Godfather, none. But then
You've not seen Al Pacino?
No, I've seen De Niro, but he wasn't in that one. Yeah, The Dark Knight, but no one. Star Wars. Who was it on from? I've seen the guy. Who was it from Star Wars? He was on Norton once. I can't remember now. No,
it's your franchise, baby.
Yeah, it's your baby.
12 Angry Men, no one. Scarface again, no one. Intouchables, no one. Yeah. And then you go down the list. It's like there's loads of that. Just that next. Like
I'm aiming
Arnie for, and De Niro and all that stuff.
I'm aiming for that top set. I've basically I've got the Big Lebowski, and I've wagered that from that my best chance is probably going to be either Steve Buscemi in something or Jeff Bridges. Be hard, but possible. With Now and I, it's got to be Richard E. Grant at some point.
Yeah, he's been on loads.
Lane, I need Vincent Cassell. And Sling Blade, I need Billy Bob Thornton. I think Vincent Cassell will be the hardest one to get.
Well, if you ever see the coming up on Graham Norton bed, let me know and I'll get you tickets still.
I can't see Cassell going on to Norton.
No, he won't.
But like, I mean, if fucking Jeff Goldblum or someone does.
Jeff Goldblum ain't in my top 10. Jeff Bridges, I said.
Yeah, but he'll be in Lebowski.
Jeff Goldblum ain't in Lebowski.
Not Jeff Goldblum. Who am I thinking of?
Jeff Bridges.
No, who's the other guy in? Who's his mate?
Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi.
No, John Goodman. That's the one.
Oh yeah, Jeff Goldblum and John Goodman, infamously the same.
Same initials.
Oh, and there you go. Anyway, welcome. Here we go.
Welcome to Filmbusters.
Welcome to Filmbusters.
If this is your first time, this is what you should expect.
It's normally a bit more slick than this.
I thought that was very slick.
It was very slick. I loved it. Well, everyone, welcome back. It's our first round of 2025. It's our round. Jamie's brought the round to us, and it's 1999. And we're not doing the film he's picked today, but we are doing a film that I have picked. So it's all very exciting. I can't wait to just kick off a new round, guys. It's been a long time coming.
It has, and we're going back to the 20th century.
Yep.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. So yeah, today we're doing Summer of Sam. Exciting stuff. Our second jaunt into the Spike Lee universe. A Spike Lee joint, as you may call it. So exciting bloody times. Before we get into the good stuff, let me just say, we got some other good stuff over on our Patreon at www.patreon.com/filmbus, so we can get exclusive, wonderful stuff, that are only our nearest and dearest get, that pay for it. So yes, if you want to get to that, that's www.patreon.com/filmbusters. Should we get on to the main stuff and let's talk about the round, Ben? We should do that first.
Well, let's talk about the round, as you say. Yeah, we're in 1999. And we preface everything with a little bit of info about that year. So let me hit you with some of the good info of some business that happened in 1999. Donald Trump wasn't the first president to face impeachment. Bill Clinton, his impeachment trial began after the House voted to impeach him for lying about his affair with Monica Lewinsky.
Wow, well, we were.
But a month later, he was acquitted, unlike Trump.
Damn it. No, I don't want to get into the Trump stuff, but he's fucking nuts.
No, he's a good guy. There's good people on both sides. There's good people on both sides.
We need to be nice to him because he's probably listening to us right now.
That's
true.
He'll
take us all down.
He's a patron.
Columbine High School massacre took place. I read the book last year. Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold killed 13 people and injured 24 others before committing suicide at Columbine High School, Colorado. Big game changer. Well, not really a game changer because they didn't fucking change anything in America, really.
Why was that such a big one?
That one was the one that really grabbed everyone's attention because it was so in the news, it was so in the press at all times, and I can't.
It was a trendsetter.
There were killings, but they tried to make out like they were devil worshippers, that they were part of this thing called the Trenchcoat Mafia, etc., etc. They completely missold who these boys were. Like, they're still terrible people, but they were like very mentally ill kids. But they made out like they were part of something else, and like they were spawned by Marilyn Manson and the films, and just like what the media does. The Sopranos began, starring James Gandolfini, our old friend. James Gandolfini.
Amazing.
Began in 1999. We lost two big guns, Stanley Kubrick and George C. Scott. Both died in 1999. R.I.P. to them. The euro is introduced as currency. Not over here though, because the British had to resist. The Y2K scare. Everyone was terrified in 1999 that when the clock ticked over and we went into 2000, that all our computers were going to explode and send fragments of mechanisms and wires into our face. Nothing happened, did it? Not a damn thing.
We turned into androids.
The Pokemon craze swept the US. It took a few years, but it suddenly took hold in the US, and everyone went crazy for Pokemon over in the United States. I guess we did here as well, but
yeah, I love the Pokemon.
I didn't play that stuff. I don't even know how you play it, other than when we got the
never
apps
played
a
it
few
either.
years ago.
Just collected it.
I don't know what it is. Woodstock 99 took place, and if you want to find a little bit more out about that, you might want to go onto Netflix and check out the documentary, which shows what an absolute shit show it was. Limp Bizkit, Korn,
shambles,
a few others. Awful event. Absolutely horrible. And finally, last thing, Napster was in the throngs of its success. Napster was running the roost for streaming back in the good old days when you had to spend an hour and a half downloading a 90-second track of something, only to find out that it wasn't what you wanted.
Good old days.
There we go, 1999. Beautiful times.
To jump on the back of 1999, we've done two films from 1999 before. Do you know what they are?
I did.
Straight Story.
And I've forgotten.
Yeah, perfect way to start the year off with a David Lynch film. There you go.
Yeah.
Straight Story.
I can't remember the other one. I only know Straight Story because when I was trying to pick my films, it kept coming up.
What's the other one?
Kept appearing. Ravenous. Ravenous is 1999 as well. There you go.
Okay.
I didn't watch that one, so.
Good year so far with those two then.
Exactly. We're kicking it off well. So that's the year, everyone. So we should probably just segue into our staple of every episode, which is the quiz, and everyone knows. Ben, you won it last year, so over to you. You've got the reins now this year.
I've got the reins and the scores are all reset to 0. So boys, are you ready? I'm going to hit you with the 2 questions. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I think so.
This is the most in it I've ever been.
Yeah, I know. Right. Richie and Ruby form a band called Late Night Abortion.
Mm-hmm.
But what is the name of the venue where they give their debut performance?
I've only.
Fuck's sake.
It's not Virgo. That's the other one. Oh, they kept saying it as well. Fuck, I don't know.
Yes, it's a real venue. It's something
tavern.
Are you giving up?
I'm giving up. I don't know it, but
yeah, I don't know.
CBGB.
Wouldn't have got it.
That's the name of the venue. And it's a very real venue where lots of punk rockers played. The Ramones played back in the day. Talking Heads played back in the day.
Nice.
There you go.
Good
that's
start
a point for me. Excellent. Now, boys, on this one, you have to get all 3 parts correct. So if you start answering, the other person has to stay quiet and let that other person try and do all 3. And if you don't get all 3, if you only get 2 out of 3,
give the advantage.
The other person can steal.
Okay.
What 3 sexual acts does Vinny say you can't do with your wife?
Okay. I don't think I know the third one. I'm gonna say I'm just gonna go for it. Doggy style, anal, and like oral.
You got 2 out of 3 correct.
I know it is that third one.
This is your chance to steal. If you can't get the third one, the point will go to Paul.
I think the only thing I can remember him saying is you can't fuck her, if that makes sense. You make love, you don't fuck.
This is incorrect, but yes, he does say that. The 3 acts, Paul, you were right with anal. You were right with doggy style.
The oral was wrong.
Oral was incorrect, but it's a version of oral. It was 69. 69.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
But you get the points. You get the point. So it's 1 for you, 1 for me, and none for Adam.
Okay.
Very kind. Very
Here we
gracious host.
I think you should get 3/4 of a point. But...
No, 2/3 really.
Very true. Very true.
Very crass quiz question to start the year off. But this is the context of the film.
Nice film busters. Just do what you got to do with those quick questions.
Film busters.
Well, should we do it? Should we get into this film?
We got to do it. We've got to.
Let's do it.
Hey, what are you taking the big one for? Come on, what the hell's wrong with you? 80 pounds, you gotta take the big slice all the time.
All right, listen. We got 4 names on the list. Ryan, read that list.
All right. Right at the fucking top, we got Richie Freak, Billy the Jew, Jimmy Delfini, and that fun guy drives the bus to City Island.
All right, we're gonna mark the tires with chalk.
Chalk?
If you take a ride, we'll know what's happening.
All right, you see that guy over there making pies? Don't be so obvious, Brian. His name is Frankie Cadillac. He just moved to the neighborhood about a year ago, and he lives alone on Sampson Avenue. And my aunt tells me there's something evil about this guy. He's got those weirdo eyes.
All right, we'll check him out.
What about Johnny Nassau? Huh? Johnny Nassau drives a cab, and he's a Vietnam vet. So what? So what? Vietnam vets call themselves Sons of Sam. You know Uncle Sam, you shithead.
All right, relax.
No, that's not enough.
Joey. He lives alone. His wife left him a year ago, and he works nights.
He's a multiple category. All right, good work. Put him on the list. Write him down.
Right, everyone. Today we're talking about Summer of Sam, directed by Spike Lee in 1999. This is a spoiler episode. If you've not seen the film, we're going to spoil it terribly for you, so you might want to go watch it, come back, or just let us completely ruin it for you, whatever you want to do. We've had some people who've been in things we've done before, and we've had many. We've got 7.
Yeah, I bet we have.
7 people. Do you want to take a stab at any of them, and then I can just reel off the rest?
Go on, Adam, you go first.
Well, obviously, Adrian Brody's been in something.
Nope.
Hasn't he?
Obviously not.
What's his name as well? The main guy, John.
Yes.
John Leguizamo. Yeah.
2 films.
Jesus Rolls. Was he in that?
Nope.
It feels like he should have been in that.
Nope. Come on, over to Ben. Take a stab.
Go on.
Well, on the topic of Jesus Rolls, someone from Jesus Rolls is in this film in a very, very small role. John Turturro is the voice of the dog.
Oh shit! That didn't even come up on the credits list. That is a very good little Easter egg there. Very good. But no, there is someone else from Jesus Rolls though. I thought you were going for them.
I can't really remember the other cast members from Jesus Rolls, mate.
You won't get it anyway.
Is it Jennifer Esposito?
No, it's Dave Berkowitz, who Michael Badaluccio.
Oh right,
Badalucco, I think it is. He played Dave Berkowitz, and yeah, he was in Jesus Rolls. So.
Oh, well, Johnny L has obviously been in Super Mario Brothers, and I can't remember what the other film he's been in.
Revenge. Don't remember it. Don't remember him being in it.
Oh wow, no, I don't remember
Tony
him
Scott
being
film.
in it. Yeah, interesting. Is Mira Sorvino been in something we've done?
Nope.
Go on, rattle off the other ones. Michael Imperioli must have been in.
Or have we done another Spike Lee film?
Oh yeah, Spike Lee, yeah.
Yeah, Spike Lee, The Five Bloods was Spike Lee. As you said, John Leguizamo. We've got Mike Starr, who's Richie's dad.
Yeah.
He was in Blue Steel. We've got Anthony LaPaglia. He was in Trees Lounge. Roger Guenveur Smith, who's a big collaborator with Spike Lee all the time, who plays a police officer. He was in Deep Cover. And we've got Arthur J. Nascarella, who's Deanna's dad, who works in the kitchen. Yeah. He was in Copland.
Okay, I could believe it. I mean, it's a big, thick assortment. Yeah,
it's a big old cast, isn't it? And there's still some like big names that we've just never done before. So
I know, big stonking cast, really.
Yeah, exactly. Over to you, Adam. It's your time to do your wonderful plot summary.
This is another Spike Lee film. I feel like every Spike Lee film almost seems to be set when it's really hot in the summer in a city. It's just like he likes hot summer, sticky summers.
He likes a sticky summer, that's for sure.
Yeah. And there is a murderer on the loose, and it sends all of these people insane trying to find out and work out who the murderer is. It's almost like The Traitors, but in a film. It's set in 99, well, set earlier than 99 with the 70s in New York. And it's hot.
Hot damn. Summer in the city.
Very sticky.
Yeah. It is like The Traitors, yeah. It is like The Traitors. Everyone just gets a little thread of something minor, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's him. He's definitely the fucking killer." You want some facts?
Yeah.
I want some facts.
Okay, so there was a lot of blowback from Spike Lee when he originally came up. Well, he didn't come up with the concept. Michael Imperioli, I can't say his name, the guy who played Christopher in The Sopranos, he wrote the script. He brought it to Spike Lee. Yeah. Well, he's one of two people who wrote the script. And he brought it to Spike Lee, and Spike was like, "You direct it, I'll produce it." But then as time passed, it just made sense for Spike Lee to direct it. But he got a lot of negative feedback because some of the victims didn't want a film being made about it, so he had to change the script to make it more about the community than the killer himself. Originally it was called Son of Sam. He switched it up to be Summer of Sam. The role of Diana was originally written for Jennifer Esposito, who eventually played Ruby, and Jimmy Breslin, the journalist who Son of Sam is writing the letters to, is the guy who opens and closes the movie as well. It was all shot in New York in 1998, mainly set in the Italian-American neighborhoods of the Country Club, Morris Park and Throgs Neck, and that Italian flag had to get painted onto the end of that walkway where the dead end sign is, and the locals have just left it there ever since. It was never there before, and they've left it there as a little memento of the filmmaking being done there. Richie was the lead character in the script originally, but Spike Lee loved what John Leguizamo was doing on set. He was improvising so much that he actually ended up making the film, as he went along, be more about John Leguizamo and Vinny's character.
Interesting.
Mira Sorvino, she really liked working on the film. She had a great experience, apart from the orgy scene, which she said she really considered it demoralizing and she didn't think it needed its place in the film. And infamously, Spike Lee had to cut a lot of footage from that club orgy scene so he could get an R rating instead of an NC-17 rating, which I guess is like a 15/18 thing over here. He also comes under a lot of criticism for casting a Latin American actor as an Italian character, but he has said he goes with who's best for the role, and he knows that John Leguizamo is a good enough actor that he could pull it off, so he doesn't see any issue with it. And lastly, Spike Lee had a massive fallout with the New York Times after this film was released, because as part of its cinematic release, the New York Times actually went and interviewed Son of Sam, David Berkowitz, in prison to ask for his comments on the film. And the Son of Sam name-dropped Spike Lee's kids and his wife and said that he would be praying for them. And Spike Lee was furious. He went on Charlie Rose talk show, and Spike Lee was like, instead of promoting the film, he spends all of the interview pretty much just lambasting the New York Times, saying, people want to criticize me for making a film like this. You should be criticizing the media who are going and talking to the actual killer and including lines about him talking on my wife and kids. It was like, it would have taken nothing for them to just cut that line out of the interview. And the fact that they included it in, he was fuming about. Just check it out. Charlie Rose, Spike Lee interview. It's interesting.
Yeah, more than anything, that's the salacious thing, going to the actual fucking serial killer and
definitely,
giving
isn't
him some airtime. Yeah,
they ran it the whole first week of this film's release in US cinemas. The New York Times and other newspaper outlets had scheduled Son of Sam content that they were doing each day, and it's like, that's capitalizing on the murders. Like this film is not gratuitous, it's not exploitative, it's respectful. So I don't see how the criticisms can be levelled at it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Totally. Yeah. Great facts. Thanks, Ben. Very good.
Oh.
So this is my film, so I get to decide the order, and I think I will probably just go first. Okay. And then because we know that Ben's seen it, let's leave him till last. And Adam, you can go right in the middle, a little sandwich.
Filmbuster's order.
Yeah, Filmbuster's order.
Pab.
So, Pab.
I literally about to say exactly the same thing, Ben. Because you said it the other day.
It would have been better if it was the opposite. Then it would have actually been a sandwich. It would have been a BAP.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, very good. We need to do a BAP sometime. We don't often do BAPs. We'll do a BAP next time.
Okay, so I think it's the film. It just has like a wonderful energy about it. It does. I think it does a fantastic job of transporting you to that 70s time period, just with the style, the soundtrack, and that in general is just like an absolute joy to be submerged in that culture at the time. And pair that with a fantastic, somewhat Italian American cast, and that energy, it just ramped up to that erratic but also incredibly fun at points degree. Spike Lee does like absolute wonders with ramping up tension within like a community. Anyway, as you said, it would do the right thing, but basing it in this like very real threat of the 44 caliber killer makes that like apparent fear and paranoia just feel so very real. And the wonderful thing is that it isn't even really about Dave Berkowitz. That is kind of like the catalyst that helps you to experience the boiling tensions of that decade. And we spoke about it before in Good Vibrations about how it was a very like transgressive period. This change from like the free love is like had come and gone. It's in place with this feeling of disrupting the system. So these tensions just arose naturally between people of different beliefs, and I think it does a great job of demonstrating that, as well as that Catholic guilt aspect too. I think it does quite well. It's no sweltering, insane tension of Do the Right Thing, but it's still a great watch, and that's my first impressions.
There we go. Oh, it's me, isn't it? Oh no, I'm lost.
It's Adam.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's such a weird film because the whole film is not really about the Son of Sam. That is just the backdrop for it to cause all of this. And again, like I said in the plot, it is like an episode of The Traitors. It's like it just causes all these tensions. But the thing I feel weird about this film is it almost feels like this film should have come first, and then Do the Right Thing. He'd gone, oh shit, I've learned all this stuff of this film, and then make Do the Right Thing later. But this film's like 10 years after Do the Right Thing, and you're like, how can you make Do the Right Thing where you said the climax is so good, the setting of it is so good, and then you kind of almost remake it in a certain way, and like you take a lot of the ideas and a lot of the plot points and then put them into this, and it just doesn't quite have the same feel. It almost feels like in the progression of a filmmaker, this feels like it should come first and then Do the Right Thing could come second. But yeah, it's such a weird film. It's like you aren't really watching The Son of Sam, you are watching all of these people, and for the most part you kind of forget about that. Like you don't, I don't care. It's only when you come to the end you're like, oh, like The Son of Sam is quite irrelevant in it, because you're just thinking, is he actually, is he not, is he? But yeah, so overall it's an enjoyable film.
I know what you mean about you almost think Do the Right Thing should come afterwards. That like Do the Right Thing is the better film, but there is like, this is grander, this is bigger in a way. It takes the same thematic areas, like the tension, as you say, in the heat wave, but it sets it with this backdrop across a whole summer. Instead of a whole day, it's a whole summer, and your heat wave is magnified by Son of Sam in the background. And I like that it doesn't really focus too much on him. If anything, definitely, I think the weakest bits of the film are when we cut to Son of Sam. But
absolutely,
he's not in it enough for that to be a massive issue. Yeah. It's just, this is the backdrop. It ain't about it. It's about what fear and paranoia and pressure is doing to this community. And Spike Lee sets it all perfectly. Like, there is so much red in the film to reinforce that hot imagery, from John Leguizamo's car to the dresses that Ruby wears to the tables they sit at in the diner. That tension is there the whole way through, and Spike Lee lived through it. He was in New York when that actually happened, so he remembers it. So the authenticity is absolutely there. The cast are all absolutely fascinating and fantastic. They are top of their game. None of it feels stagey. None of it feels... There's one Italian-American goon who is a little bit over the top. Is that
the one who was wearing the I'm the video?
I'm stupid. Yeah. But no more than what you would see from some of the goons in early seasons of The Sopranos. So that ain't even a criticism, right? All of that core cast are so compelling, and they feel so real, so interesting. And it is to the film's credit that you can have your leading man be a cheater, a filthy cheater, constantly cheating on his wife, and you are compelled to watch him because it's fascinating to get inside his mind while he's half trying to rationalize his way out of it by saying, this is something to do with God punishing me, or I'm cheating because this thing happened, I'm really under pressure because Richie's this way, so I had to cheat. It's fascinating to watch. The psychology of it is incredible. And the whole thing about finding scapegoats, finding outsiders, people who aren't quite like us, so we have to put the blame on them for the bad things that are going on. Rather than looking at yourself, you look for blame in other people. Brilliant. And considering that this is... I've seen Spike Lee say, it's not true that he doesn't make films without black leads, and like this is the first one that doesn't have a black lead. It's not true, because even things like Do the Right Thing... Danny Aiello is the lead in that. It's about a black community, but Danny Aiello is the lead in that. And this still feels all like an authentically black voice telling this story, because even though he's talking about the Italian-American community, his language is still coming out of all of this cast of characters. And even when we cut to the sidelines, when we see him as a reporter go into the black community and see how they're like, look, if this was a black guy doing it, everyone would be up in arms. And when the black cop goes to the diner and they're like, why are you so focused on Berkowitz when all these black people died in this neighborhood the other night? His voice is still in there. Incredible film. I watched this so much growing up, but I hadn't seen this in a long time. And I was worried that it wouldn't hold up. Not only did it hold up, it was better than I remembered. I fucking loved it.
Oh, wicked. Lovely stuff. Absolutely agree wholeheartedly with everything you're saying. And yeah, the John Leguizamo, to put him in the lead and still be so compelling to watch, and just this whole idea of this Catholic guilt and like him feeling like maybe the murderer's coming after him because he's doing anal. And it's just like, what is going through your head is absolute madness, but it's just a fascinating character, and there's so much to like delve into here as well. As you said about the mafia bosses and how the police are trying to get help from them.
Yeah,
and it is
I mean,
like,
that's fascinating.
why are you not going after the black neighborhood? It's like this is happening. Yeah, you're not going any. That's not being like put in the newspapers and anything. Why is that not being like shed a spotlight on? It's because it's the whiter neighborhoods, and I think there's a lot to say and a lot of interesting stuff to delve into. And I'm 100% love that it's not focused on Dave Berkowitz, because not that it's a serial killer should be fascinating, but I don't know if it would have been a great film to see, really, because he's so impersonal, this guy. Yeah. And he's focused on that dog and everything. It's like, yeah, okay. And yeah, as you said, that dog scene is the weakest part of the whole film for me, when the dog's speaking. Regardless of whether it's, did you say John Turturro was the dog?
Yeah, John Turturro is the voice,
Yeah. It's like, that's interesting, but I didn't care for that. It just felt so out of place from what we were seeing. And it's just something there that's ramping the tension up. I'm so glad they didn't put too much focus on it, because it did not need it. The characters was far more interesting.
It's the Hitchcock thing of showing the bomb and then panning away from it. It's like, that's what it is. Every time we cut to Berkowitz, it's a reminder that he is out there and these killings are happening. And now let's go back to these characters who are living in the same neighborhood as him and see what's going on. And also, like Breslin, Jimmy Breslin's comments at the beginning and the end of the film, when he's like, there's 8 million stories in the naked city, this is one. It's like, I mean, that's fascinating. We've just watched 2.5 hours of really complex individuals, how they interact with one another, how they make mistakes and do the wrong thing. And it's like, that's just one story.
Literally,
and that's life.
One dead end road, and they all live on that road. It's almost that, of some people. I think it's fascinating. You always have that as it's almost like a stage for their stories. Them just all standing there telling all their grievances and doing their plotting and stuff from that kind of dead end road is pretty cool.
It is.
You are right when you say this is do the wrong thing. This film, it is not do the right thing, and that is probably the best way to sum it up compared to
This is his Scorsese film. It feels like Spike Lee going, I want to make a Scorsese film.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, for sure.
He's got there's a lot of Spike Lee trademarks there, but there's a certain flair that suggests he's trying to emulate Scorsese, definitely with the score. I mean, Spike Lee always is wicked with the score in his films, but the way he uses soundtrack in this with so many scenes, I mean, I got to say, the disco scenes in this are incredible. One of my favourite scenes, and in fact, it is my favourite scene in the whole film, is when John Leguizamo and Mira Sorvino go into the empty club because everyone's scared about Son of Sam, and they are dancing to this epic number in the club. I can't remember, I don't even know what it's called, but they're the only two on the dance floor, and she's good, but John Leguizamo's dance moves are so fucking hot and sexy. Like, the way he's moving is incredible. He's like a proper dancer. It's always been burnt into my memory.
And it says so much as well with his facial expressions, because she's had this conversation on the side about what she can do to kind of win him back round again, regardless of being his wife. Yeah. And in this club scene, it's where she's grinding up against him with her bum, and you can see all the thoughts going through his head, like, oh my God, this is what I want, but also it's not what I want, because it's going to be a sin. It's like, you can see it all in his face, everything, like, it's going through his head. It's great. And I totally agree with you. The Scorsese element, I feel like the most Scorsese thing about the whole film is I think the first time we see Richie and Diana when they're first going to the club, when it's packed, and it's a massive long tracking shot through the whole club.
Yes.
And they're going and it's circling around them dancing. It's like, that is so Scorsese.
100%. And just like this wide cast of characters that we keep getting introduced to new elements of, and like even like Bobby the Fairy, who gets introduced, is like, you're a side character, but you're given a certain amount of impact in the plot. Like, he's kind of crucial to that final moment when they decide that Richie is the son of Sam, because of this side character of Bobby the Fairy.
But it's so interesting as well, the fact that you have all these altercations between these characters. How, like, Bobby the Fairy has an altercation with one of the goon that's over the top. It was him, wasn't it? Yeah. So and then come the end, they're just all together. It's like they've thrown away those grievances, and it's like so shallow that it's just like, you could be so like horrible to someone. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to go find this other guy because this is what's happening right now. We can go beat this guy up because we think he's the killer. Yeah, we're just band together.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mob mentality, like when people are scared, that's when they're most vulnerable and most dangerous.
For sure.
And they're also looking for reassurance in, even though they are like, they're low-level mafioso in a way, like they're the street thugs, but they won't move on Richie at the end until they get the blessing of Vinny. They still, like, that mob boss still needs to be like, come on, you've got to see it, can't you? Like when he's doodling in the paper and all that, he can't do it without.
Also, Vinny's it looks nothing like him. Like, it looks nothing like him.
It's the paranoia, though.
Yeah,
because John Leguizamo's so on drugs at that moment.
Yeah, I was almost hoping, like, when he did the doodling, the picture slightly like morphs into him a bit, but like, it's like the nose. Like, the nose is the most obvious bit. It's like,
I know, he's got a distinct nose. I mean, Leguizamo's on so much drug. Vinny's on so much drugs at that point. That's why when he looks at it, he's like, oh shit.
He's ready to believe anything to get him out of it as well. Like, he's spiraling so hard that he's believe anything just to.
But that's great acting from John Leguizamo. It feels like he's actually on drugs, like the way he's acting.
100%. Like his total meltdown at the beginning of the film. What's fascinating about him is that you kind of feel like he is the leader of the pack. In a way, the way he walks into the club and he's got the flair and all that, he is the John Travolta from Saturday Night Fever. And by the end, it's like you are so not the leader of that fucking pack. You're a little rat that's following them around.
But then he's almost like not in the gang as well. He's like, he just hangs around with them, but then he goes off and does his own thing, and he's got his own life. But all of them seem to be integrated together. Yeah, and he's got like Richie on this side. He's got like all those other little things going on.
That's what's fascinating about the film, because you can feel this kind of brotherhood that they clearly had when they were all grown up, even when Richie, like, he was clearly part of that whole unit, and because they've all grown in separate ways, and it's like they've grown in their different directions. So Richie, as you said, he's probably gone the disco route, and he just loves that kind of lifestyle and like to go and have sex wherever he wants, where his other friends who they grew up with are so focused on being part of this mob or something, and then Richie's off there doing his punk route, and it's I love that, but you still feel there's this closeness, how they grew up together and they all know each other.
Yeah,
and
it's particularly those two, eh?
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Like, he has that connection with him, and it's kind of fascinating that Richie's going so in another direction now. A very, very different direction to Vinny, almost like they no longer got much in common. And it's kind of heartbreaking towards the end when they have that scene where Richie realises that Vinny's brought the thugs to the club to find him. And he's like, have you totally lost faith in me? It's like, it's sad, just because the guy's gone his own way, that Vinny's turning on him like that.
I mean, Richie's just a fascinating character as well, anyway. Just like the levels of this guy, it's like, just, there's so many facets to him, and it's almost impossible to get inside his head about what he's thinking, because he has this like girlfriend, and it's like, do you not want to be with her? Do you want to be with her? Are you, it's like, what is going through your head? He's like
fighting his identity more than anyone else.
Absolutely.
He is, yeah. He's trying to find where he fits in. He doesn't know what his sexuality is, does he?
Adam, because this is your first time watch, did you for a second think that was Adrian Brody's actual accent in this film?
No, I know it's not his. I know it's not his accent, but I was about to say it's probably one of his best performances I've seen.
No, I'm saying the British accent.
I didn't know. I know he's not British.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
But it's intentionally meant to be that.
Yeah,
because he's just a poser. He's a poser.
He's thinking he's in The Who, isn't he? That's what he wants. So
yeah, of course.
He's kind of, and that's almost like an over-the-top British accent as it is. But I think it's by far probably one of his best performances.
It's all in the attitude.
Yeah,
attitude. Yeah, very layered performance. Absolutely.
Yeah, very, very layered. Very layered, because it's kind of, they never, and this is to the beauty of it, is that you never actually find out why he doesn't want Jennifer Esposito to have sex with him. Like, he will do it on camera with her to make money for porno, but it's this is what's interesting, is the comparison, right? That they sort of look at what Richie's doing as this rotten thing, what is he doing? He's stripping for men, he is prostituting himself for men, and he's making porn with his girlfriend for money. But what they seem to not care about, on the flip side, is that, well, Richie's doing that consensually with Ruby, whereas Vinny is cheating on his wife consistently, and they ain't saying shit about it. They don't see that as a perverted thing. They see what he's doing consensually with his girlfriend. Whether you agree with it or not, it's all consensual. Yeah. Everyone knows what's going on.
And you're really just looking into Richie's life. You're not really delving into what the sex lives of these other guys. It's like you're clearly they're all doing the same thing as well.
I mean, it's very off-putting what Richie is doing in the club with that doll and the knife, though. Even like straight or gay, that's a off-putting display. It's bringing sex and violence very close together, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Which again is what this whole film is doing, though. It's sex and violence. Spike Lee is bringing sex to the forefront in this film so much, not in an exploitative way, but in a, like, it was the late 70s. This was, the Summer of Love had gone, and it was before AIDS was about to change the game sexually for everyone. So it was like free love, that place that they go to, Plato's Rest or whatever it's called. That was a real place in New York where these orgies would take place. And John Leguizamo is like fucking fascinating because of exactly what you say, Paul. That Catholic guilt. He's had that Catholic upbringing. He's got the fear of God, but almost because of that upbringing, he's having to express himself so much more with all these different women, because he's locked into what should be a faithful marriage, what should be a traditional idea of what a marriage should be. That has to be so clean. It's a very mafioso way of doing it. You don't, you do that shit with your guma. You don't do it with your wife. And then he has to just he has to expunge himself with all this guilt with all these other women.
Absolutely, yeah. Fascinating. Just exploring these grandiose emotions, as you said, like the love and sex and then also the violence all mixed in there, and just ramping them up to the nth degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, like we say, take out fucking Summer of Sam entirely, and you've still got a fascinating core cast of characters that are telling a very unique story.
I almost feel like the film would almost be better if it was a bit more fictional. I think everything would be a little bit, but it's obviously good, especially if you're in America. I guess I've never heard of the Son of Sam before. Like, I didn't know about it.
You've seen Mindhunter.
Yeah, but I don't, like, there were so many people in that. I'm like, I didn't know who that was.
Son of Sam, a big one.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like, but for an American, to set that in the background, great. But the film is so irrelevant to him that it's. But
it is just the cat. He is just the catalyst to to amp up these emotions that these people already had, as you said, like John Leguizamo, who was already having this guilt, but then he feels like now this murderer's chased him because of that guilt in some ways.
That's it. Yeah, it's like, oh, here's the manifestation of the bad thing that I've done coming for me.
Yeah, exactly. Because it literally was there when he was cheating. The murder is literally at his doorstep.
Yeah. I saw it as maybe a little analogy for an STD as well, because he's done this thing, this sexual thing, and now there is this regret and this worry that something
following him.
is following him. Yeah.
Absolutely. Patti LuPone's here.
Oh, mate, Patti LuPone. Totally, I'd forgotten. I didn't even know who she was at the time.
I'm pretty sure you mentioned it in your episode, and I was like, "Oh my god, Patti LuPone's here,
mate." Seeing Patti LuPone took me back,
joyous.
and then seeing her topless. This is a Broadway star,
absolutely
star of Broadway. For her to take her top off, I'm like, Spike, what the hell are you doing, man? Show some respect to Patti. You can't be doing this right now.
Did she actually do it, or was it a body double?
No, it was her.
That's her.
That was her. It was Adrian Brody's mum. Is Patti LuPone. I've now seen three films.
She's looking good. What can I say? She's looking good.
Yeah, she is. I mean, yeah. Everyone's having sex in this film. That's for damn sure. Everyone is having sex.
Loads of people looking good.
Yes. Let's talk about the character of Gianna, because that's her name, right? Gianna.
This is Gianna, isn't
Vinny's wife.
John Leguizamo's wife. Yeah, Vinny's wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gianna.
Now I'm doubting.
I think
Diana.
Diana, okay. It's because of the way Vinny says it. All right, Diana.
Gianna.
So this was always my memory of it anyway, and same thing applied here. I'd be interested to see what you two think. In the first half of the film, or maybe the first 2/3 of the film, I find Diana's character very naive, very innocent, very forgiving, and almost sort of like too pristine and sort of like not well-rounded as a character, sort of like a trophy, tokenistic wife who is also very sexy, very beautiful, but has no personality. Then after the orgy scene, she's given the chance to let loose. She, like that car scene with Vinny, is one of the highlights of the film. So incredible. The whole thing largely improvised as well. Like, now she's given some energy and some heat, and then by the end she has the power because he's down on his knees and whatnot. But I don't know, I'm still not sure how much I like how she's presented up until that point, because I almost think her as an actress she's good, but I mean the character feels too angelic, too innocent, too naive to everything that's going on.
I think that works for me because of the fact how the journey this character's been taken on, because she does feel very forgiving and a little bit naive. She does know. This gets to the point, she knows it's going on, but she kind of hoping that he's going to change it, because he keeps giving these false promises about, I'm going to change. And she, even though he's not saying it outright, she knows what he's talking about, because she knows that he slept with a cousin. She could smell it.
Smell the pussy juice.
Yeah, could literally smell it, right? Yeah. So when we get to this point after the whole orgy, and it's in that room where she's packing her stuff away, she's still this very kind of sweet, and it's like, I'm up to the limit now. I'm not doing it anymore. And she won't like let it get to her. And even went to the point of when they're at the door, and she's literally saying, Richie, I can't do it anymore. And she's like, literally, she still loves him, but she can't do it to herself anymore. She's like, I think that's perfectly played, because that scene wouldn't happen if you didn't get that build up of her being such a forgiving person to Richie the whole journey through.
But it's almost like when he puts the tables on her and he puts a spotlight on her, that's when it's like, oh, fuck you. Like, I can play ignorance, but I'm not letting you gaslight me. Like,
yeah.
You really see his manipulation at the end when he is really like begging and like, oh, I brought you flowers, like so.
Did he actually bring the flowers, or did he just put them off the side? Like, did he turn up with them? I can't remember.
He turned up with them. But
okay.
yeah, I mean,
I thought he just found them on the side and just like, oh, these.
No, he actually brought. But then he's quickly like, when she's like about to walk out, he's like, you ain't coming back after this. If you walk out, you're not coming back. It's like, man,
yeah,
you are not showing any
Don't
act
try
of contrition here.
Me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
but so good. And then the way he spirals after that is incredible. Like, anyway, the point I was making on Mira Sorvino, like, great performance all the way through. She's not a bad actress. I appreciate that she gets her moment to suddenly blast at him after being so typical wife, Catholic wife, Italian Catholic wife. And on the flip, we have the incredible Jennifer Esposito, who is equally fantastic in this as Ruby, who is just this woman who's totally comfortable with her sexuality to the point where the Italian Goombas are like, oh, she just sleeps with everyone. And actually she's like, well, and so is Vinny. And Vinny's married. She's not married. And she's willingly going into these relationships. And she's cool. And she's willing to evolve her personality.
That's what I liked. I liked seeing the evolution. Yeah, the evolution was cool. Just to see how far she's changed from.
Yeah, that disco look goes.
Yeah, I love the idea of how this kind of era of the 70s is coming in, and you kind of just go with the trend, and that's literally her character's evolving over that summer. It's it's really good.
It really is. It really, really is. And just super interesting to see all these characters interact and move around with one another. That scene where the two of them, it's a shame that the women can only talk about men. Like, I do always think about the Bechdel test now when I see it, and it is a shame when they get that scene. Yeah, like the fact that they have that great scene where it's really well acted, but they have to be talking about that fucking beeping outside, so annoying. How to please Vinny is, it's annoying that it has to be about him, because the two of them are amazing as they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely needed. It was a great scene to have in there, because it was kind of the stop off point of showing. It kind of gave her all the answers that she needed. Like, this is you're always going to be his wife. This is what he wants to do dirty stuff, and it's like gives her the ideas of what's going through Richie's head, so she can kind of understand the position he's in.
Yeah,
and and
it
leads towards what happens.
The fact that she, like, the CBGBs and the Studio 54 club comparisons are like the two personalities, because Ruby is now at home at CBGBs and Diona is terrified at the queue waiting to go in. She wants to go to Studio 54, which leads her to Plato's Rest, which leads to the worst night of her fucking life, seemingly. So what she thinks is safe ain't. This idea of clean, pristine, doing it the right way is not safe. Everyone at CBGB's was probably fucking safe that night. Or at least what we saw, they were safe. It may look horrendous. It's just like anything from the outside when people get scared of Rammstein concerts and stuff like that. It's like these are some of the safest venues you can go to, as opposed to going to like an Ed Sheeran gig where there probably is all sorts of wankers and assaults that go on.
And she literally had to be led down the rabbit hole with Richie, because she tried so hard just to give him a little bit of what he wanted when she had the wig on and she was like in her sexy underwear, and he's still like, oh no, but it's a sin kind of thing, and he's like, okay, well, how else can we do this? And she goes all the way to literally debasing herself, and still even then he turns it round on her, and it's like, man, just get away from this man. He's never going to be happy in any situation.
Well, at least she learns that at the end.
I was going through that though.
Yeah.
Paul, it's interesting. I'm glad to hear your stance, because when I was watching this, I was thinking Paul could potentially really hate this movie because he doesn't like characters who cheat. And this man, the whole plot is this guy's a fucking cheat.
Oh yeah, but it's
but also he gets his comeuppance. I mean, that's more of it.
And it's a fascinating character study as well.
Yes.
On top of that. It's
you don't like it when the cheating is a sort of casual side thing that happens, and it's not really.
And you're supposed to forgive the character for it or something like that. That would annoy me. Yeah,
you're not meant to forgive Vinny, are you?
No, you'll know he's just going deep, digging himself a deeper and deeper hole the whole time.
What do you think of this scene? I mean, it's not really. I just want to remind you of this scene, which is a very interesting scene overall. Vinny wakes up in bed, goes to the window, starts shouting and screaming, "Fuck you, son of Sam, you fuck, come and get me," whatever. Then he's like, let's get out of town. And Diona's like, no, we can stay in. He's like, no, let's go. And then she sort of starts touching him, and then he's like, all right, let's fuck. And she's like, I want to make love, keep the light on. And he's like, no, turn the light off. and he lasts about 5 seconds, and then he rolls over and falls asleep.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of all that?
Well, it's just he's not in the room with her anymore.
It's the selfishness as well.
Yeah,
It's like he has no
selfish.
regard for what she wanted in that situation.
No.
There is no attempt to.
It's all about him.
Pleasure her. Like he's just.
Yeah, exactly. And he just rolls off, goes to sleep. Exactly. It's all about it shows you a selfish act. But I think it's I don't know. It's almost like it's too innocent for him. In a way, because he doesn't want to just make love to his wife. He wants to do something a little more dangerous, and that's all his outlook. But at the same time, he doesn't want to do it with his wife because he knows that's a sin. And it's like, what is going through your head, man? Because it's worse to be with other women doing this. What you're doing?
Yeah, I know. It is something. I mean, I don't want to make a sweeping comment, but the only times I've ever really heard this sort of stuff said is in mafia films and The Sopranos. It's like, oh, you don't do that shit with your wife.
Weird. It's like, why?
It's a Catholic thing, I guess. It's a Catholic thing.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, the one I remember saying that is Robert De Niro in Analyze This, when he's talking to Billy Crystal. When Billy Crystal's like, and you can't do that stuff with your wife? And he's like, what are you talking about? It's my wife. You can't do that shit with your wife.
It's almost like ridiculous, isn't it? Just the thought of that's just the most stupid mindset ever.
Yeah, I know.
Is it almost like condemning your wife because for some reason it's so sinful to do these things? If you put it upon your wife, then you're also damning her in some way. Where if you put it on another woman you don't care about.
Yeah, it's like
that's the only kind of mindset.
It's tying in sex to the sinful, isn't it? It's like sex being a sinful act is a very Catholic way of looking at sex. So if I'm going to do a sinful thing, I need to do it with some whore as opposed to the woman I love.
Yeah.
Very Catholic thing. Not all
Very
Catholics,
Catholic.
but some Catholics. I want to talk about 2 moments of improvisation from Leguizamo, which is great.
Oh, nice.
Number one, when he returns to the hairdressers later on, and he's off his face on drugs and whatnot, and he's
very strong.
She's trying to get him out of there. He's improvising all of that right up to throwing the coffee over the back of her head. That was just done in the moment.
You could see how she's acting. That was
a surprise.
Yeah.
And also, kind of wildly, in the car when he's arguing with Diana, he spits on her, completely improvised in the moment.
Does he?
Oh shit!
And her slap back is improvised
Too right.
I know.
Yeah.
She said when he did that, I knew there was a trust, so I slapped him right back.
Oh, very good. Yeah. That should be a two-way thing, absolutely. If he's going to do that.
I love her speeding off in the car and him running behind.
Don't
leave me out here. I love how terrified he really is. Like, it's so, like, it's not like he's being such a typical man in that he's like sowing his seeds everywhere, left, right, and centre. But he's also fucking terrified of Son of Sam constantly.
Literally, he's going to be right behind him, like he's following him the whole time.
There's lots. One thing man said, I don't know if you felt it as well. There's lots of funny moments in this, like just from the performances, very funny moments. I was laughing a lot at it.
Especially up top, the conversations when they bring the lobster. These lobsters are broke. It's funny. You look like a mozzarella.
Yeah, see that was Spike Lee lazy dialogue.
Yes, of
you
course.
Look like mozzarella. I was like, oh man, now come on, Spike. That's early in the film,
funny,
and that's when I was thinking,
funny.
oh shit, this is not going to work.
I found it funny.
Oh mate, that's because he needs to be standing next to you with that t-shirt. And we're stupid. Check this out though. One thing that I was fascinated by in the first 20 minutes. I know I'm not on the Frasier on Film podcast. 4 Frasier connections. Patti LuPone.
Yep.
Gloria the hairdressers. That's Lilith. That's Frasier's ex-wife, who's in every season of Frasier.
Okay, right.
Anthony LaPaglia.
I know that, yeah.
Anthony LaPaglia. That is Daphne's brother, who is in several seasons. And Mike
is he
Starr,
British,
Eddie, he does a very bad British accent, but I like it. I think it's funny. And Eddie Starr, who is Frasier's childhood bully. All introduced within about 15, 20 minutes of each other. I was like, fuck me, man, this is wild.
This is rife for for a Fraser on Film episode.
I know. It's been done now.
It's done. Checked off the list.
Yeah. Here's some comparisons that I was thinking of all through the movie. And I mean it when I say this. This is Spike Lee's... I said that it was like his Scorsese film. And probably the closest comparison might be Goodfellas. But in a way, it has touches of Zodiac, Fincher's Zodiac. It's a better film than that for me. It has touches of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Touches. It's a better film than that. It has more than a few touches of Paul Thomas Anderson's Boogie Nights, which is the same sort of like setting. And it's better than that. And it's like a flipped version of Saturday Night Fever, and it's fucking better than that as well. So all of these huge films...
Just John Leguizamo's dancing.
The whole environment, disco. So Saturday Night Fever is a very dark fucking film. It's an 18 rated film. I was surprised when I saw it. It's good, but it's not great. But it is very fucking dark. It's about rapist subplots and abuse and domestic, all of this stuff. But it's a bunch of white guys playing Italians, white guys that ain't Italians playing Italians in the club and making the narrative of disco about them. Whereas this kind of feels like Spike Lee bringing the disco movement back to its roots, which is like, these people came along and sort of occupied it and made it their sound. So white people then had to evolve music. They had to move in another direction because really it wasn't theirs to begin with. It was for everyone, but they tried to make out like it was theirs. That's why I appreciate the fact that you've got John Leguizamo, a Latin American, being the key figure as the disco embodiment in this film, because it's kind of like reclaiming it in a weird way.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway, I think what I'm saying is, for me, and this is sort of my summary thing, for me, I think Summer of Sam stands shoulder to shoulder with all of those films, which are considered big films, but for me on a personal level, I think it's the perfect version of each of those films. It does what all of those films do well perfectly in one film.
That's nice. I wouldn't be able to say this about Saturday Night Fever, or I haven't seen Boogie Nights in ages, so I couldn't really. I know it's great, but I just can't really pinpoint how much I love it. The other three, I would say, in my opinion, are still better than this film, but this is still like really great stuff.
Yes, it is. It is great stuff.
Adam doesn't think so.
No, Adam definitely doesn't. He's got no. I thought you were going to have some enthusiasm for this film, and you got none, buddy.
I'm just letting you talk out the end. My enthusiasm was.
I was leaving a gap for you. I was leaving a gap for you to tell us what you thought.
I very much enjoyed this film. I said that.
No, I want you to rank them against the other films.
Oh, I'd say it's probably bottom of those, but then again,
there you go.
That doesn't say anything. Well, Saturday Night Fever is above that one, but it's not as good as Zodiac and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Goodfellas, in my opinion.
I think the Zodiac aspect, it just fascinates me more because I find Zodiac like just a fascinating whole piece of history. Yeah. And because they never caught him and all stuff like that. So it just fascinates me in general.
The comparison with Zodiac being less about it being a couple of serial killers, but more that it's not really about the killer. It's like, obviously in Zodiac, he's in the film more, but really you're focused on the psyche of Jake Gyllenhaal's
and the paranoia
character.
And everything. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But this is a one Spike Lee joint I will light up and smoke again and again because fucking love this one. One final thing to say. Well, how do you feel about Spike Lee putting himself in the film as this reporter who they kind of are implying doesn't like black people?
Like he's gentrified himself and gone with the white media.
Yeah. Do you think it's him getting ahead of criticisms that might have come out about this film, making a film that wasn't about, that largely had barely any black cast in it? That's what I think.
I mean, can someone really say something like that when he's been such an advocate of all this black culture in the films he's done? It's like, this one film.
And even this film in its way still has its points towards like racism about it.
Yeah, and it has some good things to say about that. Like some great topics to bring up about like the mafia boss when he says about the black neighborhood and stuff. It's still there.
Yeah.
But we're focusing on an Italian American dead end street.
Yeah.
So
I just like that he put himself in that position as well.
Also, it's a great role
I-
for him to play, like almost narrates the film, like the second half of the film.
saying about the Scorsese, he did it before Scorsese. At the end of Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Because I was like, I was thinking, well, when is he going to appear in this film? And then there he is.
There he was. And I like that woman at the end of her comments was like, I'm surprised to see you here because I didn't think you like black people. And then he's like, signing off.
Yeah. Disregard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. A lot of fun, great performance, lots of energy, lots of life to it. Very layered. Excellent filmmaking, cinema. I was a huge fan of it. You got anything else to say or should we do scores?
I think I'm ready
happy
to
to go
do
scores.
Yeah. I think I've said everything I
When we
want to
kind
say.
of got to that point anyway.
Yeah, go on and let's do scores.
I'm giving 8 out of 10. Great film.
Yeah, same here. It's a nice solid 8.
Nice solid 8. I'm giving it the 9. I always gave it the 8, but this, like, after so much time returning to it, I'm like, man, this is so close to perfect. And I was thinking, if I had to say why is it not a 10, by the way,
We're talking
one
dog.
thing, not that, but there is perhaps a little bit too much messiness in the stitching. Like, genuinely, I couldn't give a fuck about the talking dog thing because it's like, it's just a thing in the guy's head. It's not meant to be real.
Yeah.
And the way that those scenes are shot is weird anyway. But the inclusion of them, the inclusion of a lot of baseball footage, the inclusion of certain stitching scenes in between makes it feel messy in a way that it didn't need to be. But the reality is, none of us, which we would normally do, none of us have said that film was too long. And that was 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It
So to
felt
hold
well paced.
It did.
Because it kept ramping up. It kept stepping up the ante. Everything, like the heat, the dial got hotter and hotter until you got to the end. And it was, if it went sudden, it would have been shit. It needed the slow ramp up. And also, like the baseball shit, that's just set in New York in that time of life.
Exactly. It would
It's
lose.
like-
It would lose its identity.
It's the same as putting Son of Sam in it. It's like Son of Sam in it. It's just that backdrop. It just helps you get a feel of what these people are.
Feel of the time,
thing.
yeah.
Even like the guy, they beat the guy up because he was a Boston Red Sox fan. And it's like, no, you got to be a Yankee from around here.
Yeah. There you
Talking
go.
about Dave Berkowitz, don't you think it would have been better if they didn't show him at all? Like, I didn't like when you suddenly saw his face. I was like, oh, kind of takes away kind of the anonymity and like the
I
scare
thought that.
factor of him.
But he wasn't going for it, isn't it? He wasn't going for the scare. If he was making it more about Berkowitz,
But
then
ramping the tension up in the city, just for the fact that you don't know who this guy is, he can be around any corner. But as soon as you
maybe.
see him,
You might be right,
It kind of
yeah.
plays that down a little bit.
Also,
True.
the whole thing of they probably shouldn't have revealed who it was until they went to Richie's house, and you could be like, "Oh, is Richie actually going to be there, or has he been arrested?" Like that actually, like they could have been right. I know you're not, but like, I don't know.
I mean,
I
that's
actually didn't
very
know who it was.
nitpicky.
that Berkowitz guy is a very normal-looking guy, just like that. I think that's what kind of is interesting in the film.
I actually
is
thought it
when-
was the pie guy at first, the guy who made the pies in the restaurant. I was like, "Oh shit, is that actually him?" But it's not.
Oh,
You know, in their
Right,
list.
that guy, right? Yeah.
yeah. The thing that was interesting is when he walks up to the women, and they don't react at first because he looks so normal. That's what I thought was quite good. And
Very
then
placid person.
there is a fear because he was so normal looking as they are. They're not monstrous. They're not like ugh. They just look like serial killers and normal fucking people. And that's what was interesting. How you would see their delayed reaction when they suddenly realized, oh shit, is this?
Yeah, the way he's standing there and then realised he's holding a weapon.
But you know, the thing that's fascinating, and it is true, and this does go hand in hand into what the mafia guy was saying about the black neighborhood where all these killings happened. He's so famous, David Berkowitz. He killed 6 people. 6. It's nothing. Obviously, their lives are devastated for them. But in the grand scheme of people who were killed, why is this one guy getting so much praise? It's because serial killers instilled so much fucking fear.
There's also probably the fear, like it went over a couple of weeks. Like you
Yeah.
didn't know which night he was striking. Like, yeah,
And also the playing with the police, like leaving letters and stuff. It just that back and forth. It adds this kind of strange aura around the person that there's someone like hanging around the area, and that's creepy. Yeah.
He subsequently said like, he was lying about the dog stuff. The dog never spoke to him. That was just like he was going through an insanity plea up front.
Yeah.
But of course, he's now found God.
Of course, all forgiven.
Yep.
He better not be doing anal.
Wow.
Probably is as if in prison.
Yeah.
Has no choice.
On that note.
So that gives us a 8.3.
8.3, exactly.
So, better or worse than Full Monty? It's better than Full Monty for me.
Full Monty better for me.
What did I give Full Monty? I think I'm going to have to say this is better than Full Monty.
Seven Samurai, on a personal level, I would rather watch this again than Seven Samurai. Seven Samurai is big and epic and whatnot, but if you got this or Seven Samurai, which one are you going to watch again?
Well, I gave Samurai Soul a 9. Like, it's a better film, but I
fair
definitely rewatch this over it. But
I'd say maybe this over Seven Samurai. I think I'd go with you.
Didn't you give Seven Samurai a 9, Paul?
No.
Oh, you gave it an 8.
Mm.
So you agree with me?
Yeah, I'm going with you.
Die Hard, 100% is fucking better than Die Hard. My God, this is where it's going to stop, though.
Die Hard better is stopping there.
You two are pigs. You two are pigs, man. Absolute pigs.
What can we say? We're pigs.
What can we say? Well, there we go. 1999 has started off excellently.
Yes, great start.
It's a strong year. Like, when you look at the films, it's like solid across the board.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Let's just say at this point, as we close on Spike Lee, that our friends Katie and Oti are just about at the beginning of February or sometime in February. They're about to start their Spike Lee degustation, where they chop up and analyze the Spike Lee films. I think they're doing Bamboozled,
Do the Right Thing,
Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X, and what's the other one they were doing?
What is your favourite Spike Lee film? Mine's Black Klansman.
Do the Right Thing.
Black Klansman for me.
Do the Right Thing, which is so of its time. It's like my favourite era of filmmaking is Spike from back in the day.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something about Do the Right Thing. It's just the energy of it. It's wonderful.
Oh, they're doing Black Klansman. That's the fourth one.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Wicked. Go check that out, everyone. For your reference.
Bamboozled, I'm looking forward to seeing, because that one has a very interesting plot. You guys heard of Bamboozled?
No,
never heard of it.
It's the Wayans, I think, or it's one of the Wayans, and the plot is: frustrated when network brass reject his sitcom idea, a producer pitches the worst idea he can think of in an attempt to get fired: a 21st century minstrel show. The network not only airs it, but it becomes a smash hit.
Oh fuck!
Yeah,
is it a comedy?
Well, it probably has elements of it, I'm sure. But I guess it's also like, look how fucking ridiculous it is. Like, we thought that they would ditch it, but they're like, oh no, this is actually entertaining.
And people like it as well. It's probably the more worrying part.
I know. It's rated very highly. Damon Wayans, Jada Pinkett Smith. Oh no, Michael Rappaport, that absolute Zionist scumbag. Fuck that guy. I hate him so much. Yeah, I might have to drop that out. Fuck him.
Well, how much is he in it, though?
Although most F's in there, so...
Outweighs.
They do blackface in it as well, by the looks of it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's in Spike Lee's hands, so you can do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway.
Wicked stuff. Go check those guys out. For your reference, we love them.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure you people know that already.
So we could talk about what we're doing next, though, more importantly.
Yes, is that what we do now?
Yes, Benny. What are we doing next?
Well, we are going to go and do something completely different, but very, very well known, better known than Summer of Sam. It's 4 stars, or it's 5 stars, actually. We haven't done a film by any of them ever. But they were all big names, or they certainly were in the late 90s. They were all teen big names.
Ooh.
I think I know. Do I think I know what this is?
It stars Joshua Jackson of whatever that one's called, Dawson's Creek.
Mm.
It stars Ryan Philippe of I Know He Did Last Summer fame.
Oh, yeah.
It stars Reese Witherspoon of many things fame.
Oh, shit. Is this from this year?
This is from 1999.
And Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
And Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh,
and
what a
Selma
film to
Blair,
do.
and Tara
Shit.
Reid, and all sorts of names. We're going to do 1999's Cruel Intentions.
Wow. That is a
Yes.
big hitter, mate. That is a
It's
big
a big
hitter.
hitter. It's a big fucking hitter. I saw it many, many, many years ago.
Great pick.
And we're doing the Cruel Intentions.
Have you ever heard of it, Adam?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never seen it though.
I'll tell you what Adam's going to say. Although, no, actually, Paul, I'm going to message you on the side something
Fantasy.
Adam's going to
Don't
say
tell
in
me.
the episode.
Okay.
Because he will say it 100% in the episode.
Stay in it now.
Oh, I'm just
Yeah.
not going to
Flat
say
out.
anything.
No, you've got to, and you've got to say your natural feelings, Adam, and then in the episode, Paul will confirm whether or not you've said the thing that I'm pretty 99.5% sure you're going to say.
Okay.
There we go. Oh, I'm excited for that. Great pick.
I'm excited to rewatch that. It's been so
Yeah.
long, and
Yeah.
that is such a time capsule film as well.
Absolutely. My sister loved it. She
Now-
always used to watch it.
Yeah.
Well,
There
you
we
find
go.
out what my score was. Mm-hmm. Have you seen
Well-
it before, Paul?
Yeah, I've seen it before, but I can't remember it.
Oh, you've removed you ain't got your thingy on
Yeah,
there.
I removed it because I don't remember what I actually think about it, really.
Yeah.
Wicked stuff. Look at that. Well, that's the end of the episode, everyone. We hope you enjoyed that. And that just leaves us to mention our wonderful patrons. We got a patron at www.patreon.com/filmbusters. And if you come over there, you can join the likes of our wonderful family, our wonderful Filmbusters family, just like the likes of Tia from the Alien Effect podcast.
If you can also join Luke Bennett.
You can also join Mr. Francis Cibarini.
You can join Steve and Mark from Movie Drone. They're back! They were! Are they going to be back again? Who knows?
They'll be back for Halloween, I think.
Oh, I hope so. Too
You
long.
can join
Too
that
long.
way. You can also
Yes.
join Brent from Home Video Hustle.
Oh. And you can join Mr. Luke Human.
You can join Sean Panner Nicholson from the Three Men in a Mixtape podcast.
You can also Nerd Revert.
And you can join Julio Oliveira.
You can join Mr. Jamie Russell from Movie Duel, who inspired this round.
Oh yes, he did, didn't
Yes,
he?
he did.
And finally, you have Katie and OT who will be doing their Spike Lee season.
Yes.
Go
Excellent.
check them the fuck out.
That's all divine. And hey, we got a lot to live up to after this episode because what a hell of a film. I hope that Cruel Intentions is going to give us plenty to sink our teeth into.
They better.
I feel like 1999 is going to be a particularly rich year.
Oh well, let's hope so. Let's bloody hope so. Right, everyone. Peace out.
Peace and love.
Filmbusters.